not time lapse. I ended up putting it in slow-mo, so it like took forward.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we've got to label it first. We've got to go through the anatomy. These little things are the dendrites. Now, if I'm having you label it, I'm probably going to have you kind of know what it does, right? So maybe underneath it, you write dendrite, right? Or go to your vocab and write down what a dendrite is and what it does. It's going to receive the information from maybe your glands, muscles, right? Any of your senses, like your nose, vision, touch, all that stuff. So, dendrites are receiving information. So these we would actually call receptors. Receptors. So, receptors receive nerve impulses. Right? So this is a nerve impulse. We're talking about a nerve impulse. So I'll characterize the nerve impulse with a blue. The blue. So, blue, nerve impulse is going to come in the dendrite. It's going to go into the cell body. This is the cell body. So I'll label that. Cell body. So, once the nerve impulse gets in the cell body's main job is to process the information. That's it. Okay? It's going to get to this point right here, and there's like a gate here that needs to be opened, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Then the nerve impulse, once the gate opens, it moves down the axon. That's the axon. So your neurons are pretty long, so this whole thing is a neuron. What's a neuron? You guys know? Nerve cell. Okay, good. Good, Chloe. I'm glad you know. Okay. So, neurons are nerve cells, right? That's a vocab word. You got to know that. So, all of these things are vocab words, just so you know, in your vocab. And I wrote down a couple others you should probably have that are in your vocab as well. Then it's going to leave out this end right here, and this is the axon terminal. Anybody been to the airport before? How many have been to the airport? Okay. How many of you haven't been to the airport? That's a good question. Okay. So, axon terminal is actually kind of like an airport terminal, where it branches out and can go to all these different places. Now, with this one, you have lots of them, so it must be attached to like muscle fibers, right? It's going to go and it's going to attach to a bunch of different muscle fibers so they can all contract at the same time and pull your arm up, right? Whereas these would all be, it'd be like saying this one's going to Salt Lake, this one's going to Salt Lake, this one's going to Salt Lake, this one's going to Murray, this one's going to Sandy, right? They're all in the same area. This one's going to North Salt Lake, right? That kind of thing. So these are all going to similar places. If they're branching out and going to all these crazy places, it's probably not very likely. Okay, so axon terminal. Now, right here, we have all of these things right here. These are called myelin sheaths. It's made out of fat. They're made out of fat, and what makes them are Schwann cells. You guys remember Theodore Schwann from Cell Theory, clear back in first quarter?
I only know a Schwann man.
Schwann, okay? He helped with cell theory, okay? And he got his own cells named after him. That's what they say in the video. Yeah, I've watched it too many times, okay? Schwann cells. So in your picture, it actually has little dots in the middle of it. Those are nuclei. That's the nucleus for the Schwann cells. Okay, and the Schwann cells actually produce the myelin. And myelin's main job is to make the nerve impulse go faster. It goes faster. Okay? So, right here, we have our nerve impulse coming in. It's actually called an action potential. Okay, you'll see that in your vocab. Action potential is like the same thing as a nerve impulse. Okay, it has the potential for action. It's a nerve impulse. Okay, so right here, this little thing right there is the threshold stimulus. So in your vocab, this is in your vocab, and threshold stimulus is the amount of nerve impulse or action potential it takes to keep the nerve impulse going down the axon. Okay, it's the amount of nerve impulse needed to keep it going down the axon. It's stopped right here. See the gate? It can't move anymore. Okay, once the threshold stimulus is met, there's enough. It doesn't take that much, right? It really doesn't take that much. So once it's met, it opens, and the nerve impulse, instead of just like going straight through the middle, it comes up around the sides and it jumps in between the myelin sheets and goes to every place it needs to go. Goes to the axon terminal. It jumps like at a trampoline park. You guys can travel pretty fast along the trampolines, right? You can go farther because it's bouncing you. You can go faster because it's bouncing you. Okay, the myelin. Yeah, most of them are going to have the myelin on them, the neurons. Okay, so these are like your sensory and motor neurons that are carrying stuff to and from your spinal cord, your nerves. Okay, so this is what they look like. Now inside your brain, they're not going to look like this if it's gray matter. Have you guys heard that? White and gray matter? White matter has myelin on it, and it's really fast. Gray matter is slower. It's still really fast, right? As I'm talking about this, and you're writing and doing all this is happening super quickly, right? Speed of electricity, right? All I have to do is go and turn the lights on and off. And you'll see the speed of electricity doesn't take very long for the electricity to get to the lights, right? To turn them on. So this is like jumping down a trampoline in a trampoline park, right? Why would I bring that up? I wish. Oh, that'd be so fun. But I don't want the liability on my hands. Whoa. Okay. Now, if you know a little bit of Spanish, you might know that saltar means to jump. And this is saltatory conduction. Right? You're conducting it by jumping. That's what it means. That's a vocab word, saltatory conduction. So, it's jumping down the axon. It's jumping down the neuron. Okay, from these individual spots in between it. Okay. Now, the reason you take math and all these language classes and stuff is because you want to make connections in your brain to things that you know. Okay, we have interneurons. They're not like this. They just look like this, and they just have little, it almost looks like they're all dendrites, but one part is the axon terminal. Okay, so you're trying to, they'll actually grow and connect to each other. So as I say, have you ever been to a trampoline park and you jump from trampoline to trampoline and a lot of you get your eyes lit up and you're like, oh yeah, I've been to one of those. Yeah, I did that. I'm trying to make you make the connections between saltatory conduction and the trampoline part so your brain meshes the two together. And so when you're at the trampoline park, you're thinking saltatory conduction. And you're like, oh, this is cool. Right, this is how my nerves do it.
Wait, is that, do they call it saltatory conduction because sodium or salt helps our nerves?
Good, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. It's moving, okay? And I compared this to what? The axon terminal, I compared it to what? An airport terminal, something you know already, right? So I can take something you don't know, compare it to something you do know, so the two mesh together, and you're like, oh, but if you don't study, guess what happens? They fall apart. They fall apart.
An airport where people get around on trains. That's a good way.
I hate airports.
Okay, so this is your bonus question on your test, right here. How does a nerve impulse travel through a neuron? Right, that's what I'm going to ask you, okay. In your book, it's like number 13 or something like that in your concept review. Myelin sheaths, yep.
Oh, it's an E. I thought that was a C, like my.
No, sheaths. My E's are really bad, sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay? We good on that?